Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the WEC Replica Championship on GT Sport. This is the last race of the season at Interlargos, round 7, race 2. And let's take you through the grid for this last one then. So seat 1 is on pole on the soft tyre. Then it's Techno second on the grid, but again going for the harder compound, so not going to be as fast Techno in this one. Rodders third on the softs. Then it's Firepower on the soft tyre as well, and then Stacker on the soft in 5th. Then it's TY 6th place, obviously pole position in the GT class on the soft tyre. Bidzster on the soft tyre next to him as well, so the two Team Art cars first and second. Then it's third for Callum in the Corvette on the mediums, Neil Farmack on the mediums in the other Nissan GTR as well, and then Jamo on the other Nissan GTR on the racing softs. So let's get ready for a start then in this race as we wait for the lights to go out. This is going to be a cracking race, this, guys, so watch out for this as the lights go on the bridge. We get ready for lights out, revs rise, and away we go. TY gets a brilliant start. Good reactions there, but the Corvette's off as well. Seat 1 powers ahead, and then it's Techno and Stacker side by side with Firepower into the first corner as well. And Stacker's gone round. Stacker's spun off, he's gone round, and in GT, it's TY from Callum, Bidzster and Neil and Jamo. So that's the order there as we look at Firepower and Rodders then, the two teammates having a go at each other here. Seat 1 pulling away as expected. Firepower second. Remember, Seat 1's looking to make it every single race in the season that he's won. So hopefully he will be able to do that. We'll have to see though, because Firepower's on it. As Rodders in 3rd, Techno 4th. Then we've got TY 5th. Obviously Stacker's having to fight his way back through the pack after spinning at the first corner. So as we go up the hill then, it's TY in the lead of GT from Callum and Bidzster. We've got Neil and Jamo a bit further back. That Nissan GTR not suited to this track as much. It's good on the straights, but it's very twitchy out the corners, so it's not the ideal car for this track. As Stacker there tries to make up lost time for that first corner incident as he tries to go around Jamo, but has to wait. Meanwhile up front, Seat 1 in the lead then from Firepower, Rodders, Techno. That's the top 4 in the Division 2 LMP1. And then in Division 1, in GTE, TY leads the way from Callum, but Bidzster's right behind him now, so Bidzster not wasting time in this one, trying to keep up with Callum if he can. There's Neil and Jamo with Stacker about to go around the outside of him. There he goes in the Porsche, right round the outside. You can just see the phenomenal speed difference here as Jamo has a look at Neil Farmack here. He's going down the straight, drafting Neil down towards the first corner, but it doesn't look like there's going to be a move made as Bidzster still tries to keep on to the back of Callum. So will Jamo go for it? No, he doesn't this time. So again, the pit window, guys, in between 13 and 17, so have to watch out for that as Rodders goes a bit deep into that corner there, but gets away with it. 26-2 for Seat 1, but look, Firepower's keeping with him. Firepower loving this track and loving this car. So Firepower really on the move here. Let's see if he can challenge Seat 1 to stop Seat 1 from winning every single race of the season. Rodders there, his teammate, trying to keep up with him, but going a bit wide in the process. Techno drifting that car into the corner, so clearly the hard tyre, not the optimum tyre to be on, but we'll have to see if that develops as the race goes on. But TY then leads the GT. Goes a bit wide there as Stacker tries to make up his way through the field, through the GT runners. He's still trying to make his way through. So Bidzster's right behind him now, almost pushing him along, saying, "Come on, let's go, go, go." If we go around there, then we've got Jamo is ahead of Neil now, so Jamo past Neil, so Jamo into 9th overall, Neil back down to 10th overall. So if anyone is interested in joining this championship, because it is a lovely championship to be in, obviously I'm biased because I run the whole thing, but yeah, if you're interested, go on to Facebook groups /LPB Racing, that's Lima Papa Bravo Racing, and we'll see if we can get you into one of the championships. You have to have an induction, you have to make sure that you're all clean to drive, you have to have a driving assessment, and then after that, straight into the racing and enjoying yourself and racing with some nice clean guys that can produce some really good racing, and hopefully we'll be able to give you a good example of that in this race today. So as we go down the hill then, TY from Callum from Bidzster. Stacker is now free to chase his own class, but he's already about a quarter of a lap down on him, so he's going to have to really try and get a move on here. As Seat 1 then in the lead, a 120.8 and a 121.7 for Firepower, 22.2 for Rodders, so every one of them with a second in between him, apart from Techno. He's 2 seconds off the pace on those hard tyres. And Stacker not really got a proper lap in yet because he's been in traffic, so we'll have to see how that goes on. But TY there leading the GTE, Callum second, Bidzster third, so Remember, Callum's on the medium tyres, so slight tyre difference there with Callum, but hopefully it won't be too much of a hindrance. It might even help him, you never know, as Bidzster starts to catch up to him now. TY out front anyway, he's leading the way. So the two Porsches opting for the softer compound. This is a real good Porsche track, this, apart from obviously the out of the last corner up the hill and onto the straight. That is definitely Corvette territory, but the rest of the track, the middle sector, which is a very long middle sector in this one, and it's full of nice tight twisty long corners which suit the Porsche down to the ground, is definitely a Porsche territory, as we saw with qualifying, because TY and Bidzster were about half a second quicker than the Corvette on a very fast lap time. So going to be a close race this, as we go up the hill then with Callum and Bidzster. There goes Callum, the Corvette, into turn 1. 1:31.6, 1:31.7, 1:31.5. Very close lap times indeed between all three. Pushing each other very hard indeed. As we look up front then, we've got Rodders catching up to his teammate. So Rodders catching up to Firepower here. Seat 1 still not pulling away very much from these boys, so the Team Jorex car's really keeping him honest in this one. So we'll have to watch out for that as well. But the main battle is back here. These three old guns. Been in LPB racing a while now. TY and Bidzster obviously from the start. Callum joined us quite a few seasons ago now, and he's really come along strong. Right, no, Callum's been with LPB racing since the start. I do apologise, I was thinking even further back than that. But yeah, all these guys been with LPB racing since the start, and absolutely brilliant when these guys start battling with each other. Such good entertainment, three classy drivers, and hopefully a lot of good racing to come from it. As we look a bit further back, we've got Jamo and Neil, who have also been with us since the start. Very good racers indeed, just not quite got the tools underneath them in this one, because the Nissan not very well suited to this track compared to some of the others. So hopefully they'll be able to scavenge something, but I would imagine more likely they'll be battling with one another for positions. As we look at Rodders and Firepower then, still two Jorex cars running line astern, running in formation, trying to keep up with this man. Seat 1, looking to make it, well, looking to make it every single win of the season. So he's done very well this season as Seat 1, obviously ultimate dominant fashion, and definitely a promotion to Division 1 the next multi-class season that we do. So there's Firepower and Rodders next to him. Then if we look further back there, here we go. Bidzster's right on the back of Callum, and Callum's right on the back of TY. Three-way scrap for the GT lead then. Callum looks to overtake TY on the straight, goes to the inside. Bidzster's trying to help his teammate along by pushing him a little bit as TY goes on the outside on the brakes, but Callum gets the move done. That could be vital for the race outcome. Medium tyres, and he's in the lead, so he can probably go a bit longer than these boys, but he's got to watch the fuel with that Corvette, because the Corvette is a drinker, because obviously V8 versus flat 6, obviously the V8 is going to use a lot more fuel. As TY closes up then, two teammates there. TY running a bit more blue on his car, just because it's the last one. As Bidzster then in third. Jamo still a nice position ahead of Neil Farmack, 33.4, 33.9, so similar lap times there for them too. But meanwhile, the battle for the lead in GT rages on as we go up to the last corner. This is where the Corvette will pull away, but remember they've got two Porsches now in the draft, so we'll have to see what's going to happen at the end of this straight then. Up the hill, remember pit stop window 13 to 17, so we've still got a while to go till we get to that, as Bidzster closes up to his teammate here now. Bidzster has already got, well, Callum's already got the championship sewn up. Bidzster's already got second in the championship sewn up, he can't be caught. So I wonder if Bidzster's going to help TY out here, but I don't think he is, because he's passing TY on the inside, unless TY signalled him to go through there. But I would imagine they'll be playing some kind of team game here, because Bidzster's not really got anything to gain from this apart from personal pride, and so has Callum. So we'll have to see what they're going to do here, because TY currently is 8th in the championship, and he could end up getting bumped up to 5th if he does well. So we'll have to see how it goes. It depends on how the other division finishes though, but still TY's got a chance to move up the points table. And Bidzster and Callum is fighting for their own pride here as Bidzster gets the pressure on Callum here. Into the corner we go, up the hill, into the complex. This is where the Porsche is much more supreme than the Corvette, and it's showing, because Bidzster goes right up the inside and slides the car into the corner. Have that, Callum. So right into the corner he goes and takes the position. Callum moves back down to 7th, but for how long? Will he be able to have a stab back at Bidzster, or will TY try and make amends for Bidzster's move and go for it himself? We'll have to see. As we go down the hill then, down towards the bottom corner, we're focusing on this battle because it's the main battle on track at the minute. As TY gets behind Callum then. Now, this is where the Corvette's going to have a good run. So Bidzster needs a good run out of this corner and he's not got one. He had quite a bad run out of that corner then. Here comes the Corvette with the power. Right around the outside he's going to go. He's going to humiliate the Porsche and go right around the outside of him. Revving that car to maximum to try and keep up with the Corvette. Let's see what they can do at the end of the straight. Callum pulls slightly ahead in the Corvette and he is ahead. Callum moves ahead in the Corvette and he's going to try and go right round the outside of Bidzster into turn 1. Bidzster goes up the inside though, not having that. Defends the place, did what he needed to do, and but he'll have used a lot more fuel doing that because they've got to watch the fuel levels in this GT car. See, Bidzster's used a bit more fuel than Callum, but down this next straight we go. Bidzster moves out to defend nice and early. Says to Callum, if you're going past me, sunshine, you're doing the long way round. So Bidzster outbreaks him into the corner, but does he go too deep into the corner? Can he get it turned in? Yes, he does, but Callum has a bit of a twitch on himself. Can't quite get close enough. But now they've got the LMP1s closing up to him in the background as well, so they're not too far off. As you look at Bidzster and Callum and TY still, the main 3 cars on track that are having a nice battle here. Into the complex. This is where the Porsche will pull away a little bit. This is where Bidzster can get a bit of breathing room for the straight, and this is where TY can pounce if he wants to. He goes to the outside of Callum but can't quite do anything. Callum sticks to the inside, sticks to his guns, sticks to his defensive line. Into the corner we go. TY goes for the switchback, tries to get the power on. Callum again can't TY again can't quite do anything about it. Bidzster down defending the inside into the next corner, so I wonder if he's trying to slow Callum up here to try and get TY to get through, but it's a risky business if he is. But here comes Seat 1 to lap them. Seat 1 comes through, goes up the inside of TY into there, and then goes down the inside of these cars there. So nicely done there by Seat, but while Seat's been doing that, Callum pulls alongside the outside of the Porsche. So Callum goes along the outside of Bidzster here into the first corner. He's not going to go around the outside of him, surely. Oh, Bidzster has to go wide on defence and really run him out wide to try and defend the position there, and that's left him open to attack from TY as they go down the straight then. But remember, this is where the Corvette comes into hand. The extra 50 or so, 40-50 horsepower in that Corvette, it'll help down the straight, but Bidzster's going to defend. Up the inside, yes, he defends the inside good, but runs a bit wide. TY's up the inside of Callum, is he? Oh, I thought I saw a little gap there. Callum's got to be careful not to leave the door open too much. Meanwhile, there's Jamo and Neil further back. It's still Jamo ahead of Neil, but we're going to focus on this battle. This is the best battle on track by far. As we go up the hill, Callum and TY then. Bidzster pulls away ever so slightly, but goes a little bit wide, but gets away with it. Callum tries to make amends as TY's practically pushing Callum around the corner, saying, come on, go, go, go. And Callum saying, I'm trying. It's American, it doesn't like corners. But into the hairpin we go. Get the power. Oh, very big twitch there from TY. Very close stuff indeed as we go down the hill towards the last corner. Bidzster's already there, so he's got a bit more of a gap this time, Bidzster, so he could make himself safe for another lap here. As Callum then gets a good run out of the corner, but so does TY. He's going to be right in that draft, staying right behind that Corvette to try and pull himself up to his teammate. As we go down the straight then. Firepower's closing up in the Porsche as well, so the Division 2 boys in LMP1, they're catching up to lap him here. As we go down to the first corner, Firepower closes up on the back of TY, but he's going to have to wait until out of the corner, as it's still the same order in this battle for the GT lead. As Firepower comes around the outside now. He's not going to go around the outside, actually he's going to go to the inside, sensible stuff. And Power straight past, but whereabouts is Rodder's going to get? Whereabouts is Rodder's going to get among this? Is he going to split the two cars? Yes, he is. He's up the inside of TY. He's done it without compromising his line, but he's going to get through past Callum and Bidzster. Oh, I'm glad Bidzster saw him then, because that was Rodders was going straight through no matter what. So Rodders, they do cleanly get through. So well done. Did the best with the situation that they could. As Callum then has a look up the inside of Bidzster, but I think he was more defending from TY, who goes right round the outside, then goes to the inside. And Bidzster now moves to the outside to sort of defend from Callum. and he's let TY go, but he's also let Callum go. Oh no, Bidzster's plan didn't work out there. I think he was planning to let TY go and then try and get in between himself and Callum, between TY and Callum, but didn't work out. So TY takes the lead then. Bidzster goes back down 2 positions, but he'll be, yep, he's angry with that. He's kicking himself. He's looking up the inside of Callum already, trying to put him off. TY trying to get him to go back towards him and leave TY alone. But Bidzster gets a good run up the inside. He's up the inside of the Corvette. He's saying, I can do just as much in a straight line as you, but I don't think he'll be able to. He'll have to tuck in behind the Corvette. There he goes. Tucks in behind the Corvette as they go over the line then to start lap 10. And TY defends now from Callum. And Callum looks towards the outside there, and he outbreaks him right around the outside, but drifts wide. TY goes straight back through. Oh, what a brilliant sequence of corners. As Bidzster then goes right behind Callum then to try and make his turn at it then. Down towards turn 4 we go. Callum ahead of Bidzster, just slightly defending the inside. Bidzster looks to the inside. Oh, very late challenge there. I think that was more of a move to try and put him off, and it worked because Callum's gone wide. He's gone twitchy and gone wide, and Bidzster goes through. So good tactics there from Bidzster. Try and make Callum look in his mirrors, lose sight of his braking point, and run a bit wide, and it worked. So Bidzster gets through then with some good old school tactics. So Bidzster gets second place, and so now this is going to be the fascinating bit. Is Bidzster going to play wingman for TY here, or is TY actually going to be able to be, well, or he's going to be challenged by his teammate? So we'll have to see what's going to happen here, how this race is going to fold. So, meanwhile though, in the lead is Seat 1 on lap 12. He's a good, probably, I would imagine a good 15 seconds ahead of the pack. So really dominant performance so far from Seat 1, as he's done all season. And look at the lap times. 21's down the board, more or less. Consistent pace, showing the pace of a true champion. Meanwhile, Firepower there in second place on lap 12. Oh, Rodder's trying to make a new track in third. Trying to shortcut the chicane a little bit as we look at Techno then. He's approaching the battle for the GT lead then, as Callum looks to overtake Bidzster, I think. Bidzster goes defensive into the corner. Can't quite do anything there. Defends, has a little look at the inside of TY. TY gives him space in case he outbreaks himself, but all's well that ends well so far. As Techno closes up to these boys, they'll be able to go right up the inside, time it quite well. And there we go. As Techno goes through though, Bidzster goes defensive from Callum. Callum looks towards the outside, tries to go around the outside of him, but he knows that he can't do that. He's going to have to go for the cutback, but again, that Porsche's got some really good turning and is really agile compared to the Corvette. But I said that Corvette is no slouch, as he's proving there, keeping up with these Porsches on this track. Oh, as he goes wide though, tries to go around the outside a bit too much and goes wide. He's lost a bit of time, a bit of dirt on his tyres. It's going to take him a couple of corners to recover from, as Bidzster goes wide himself and helps him out. But meanwhile, we've got Jamo back in 9th and Neil back in 10th. They're still in the same positions, still lapping constant 34 lap times. So good job by these two. They're trying to stick with the pack, but the car not really up to the job really. As we look at Seat 1 then, in the lead, doing well here, on to lap 13, so the pit window opens now for the LMP1 boys. So Firepower goes through there, so does Rodders. Techno's about to start lap 13 for himself. He's used a lot more fuel and a lot less tyres, so we'll have to see, because he's on the hard compound, remember. As Stacker then comes up to the back of the GT bunch. Let's have a look at the GT bunch then. So Bidzster right behind TY here. So before the pit, we're approaching the pit stop window for the GT, but we're not quite there yet. As Stacker then approaches the back of these boys. TY goes out the corner very well. Bidzster follows him. Identical lap times almost for Bidzster that time round, and so the same for TY. So brilliant stuff here. Very competitive lap times and very competitive place with one another, as Callum goes into a bit of fuel saving mode behind the two Porsches. But look at the fuel that TY saved compared to Bidzster. That's due to staying behind in that pack while Bidzster and Callum are battling. Look at that, he's just over a quarter of a tank of fuel, so he's got like maybe a third of a tank left, and Bidzster and Callum are under a quarter, so big difference there. So that could mean the difference between winning and losing the race for TY. So, well for all of them really, because TY, he'll be able to put less fuel in at the stop, but obviously sacrificing the pace a little bit, as he goes a bit wide there, but gets away with it. If you look though, TY's front tyres are a lot more worn than Bidzster's, so Bidzster's actually doing a lot better job with his tyres in this one compared to TY. And that's probably because TY was in the clear areas. Oh no! I've just seen on the other screen, Seat 1 has disconnected. Oh no, Seat 1's disconnected, so he's not going to win all the races in the season. So Firepower inherits the lead. So Seat 1 disconnects, and obviously that's no points because it's the equivalent of a mechanical failure or something on the car when we're disconnecting, so we treat it the same way as a retirement from the race. So unfortunately then, Seat 1's not going to win all the races in the season, so it will be a new winner in Division 2 for the first time this season. But who will it be? Firepower, Rodders in the other Jorex car, Techno could have been for his first win, and even Stacker if the others really mess up, so you never know. So Firepower takes the lead of the race then, and then as we look back at the GTE battle then, they're now on their pit window, lap 13. Will we see any early pit stops? I would imagine Bidzster and Callum will be in relatively early because of the fuel levels. Well, TY makes a mistake there. TY goes wide, makes a mistake, but Bidzster's holding Callum back. He's not letting Callum anywhere near his teammate. So we clearly know what the game is here. But Bidzster's on red fuel, so I would imagine Bidzster will be in this lap or the next one, depending on how well he can save it behind his teammate here. But he does look like he's going for it a bit more, so he might be on a decent in-lap here. As we go up and round the corners onto the hairpin. Into the hairpin we go. Good lines there, but Bidzster a lot more traction out the corner compared to TY. He's using up all the stuff here. He's definitely going to come in this lap, I think, because of the way he's pushing. Round we go then, up the hill. He's going to take all the draft he can off TY to try and save himself some time. Will Callum pit though? Will Callum follow Bidzster, or will he try and have a go at TY? We'll have to see. As we go towards here then, as Bidzster drafts his teammate, and yes, Bidzster's into the pits then. Bidzster goes into the pits and leaves TY and Callum to go on. So Bidzster's crew come out, wonder what he's going to do, but he's got a full tank of fuel to put in, so that's going to take him a bit longer. So TY then, with 1/4 of a tank left. Callum with just under an eighth left. So all the strategies are going to be really close. We'll have to keep an eye on the strategies here as Jamo and Neil Farmack go through. Bidzster still in the pits, putting the fuel in. As we look at Firepower then, with a good 5 or 6 second lead over his teammate, so big gap here for Firepower, who inherits the lead after Seat 1's demise. But you've got to be in it to win it, and these things can happen. Disconnections can happen in the online world, and they do happen regularly for some people. And it's just like having a retirement from the race. So Firepower, you've got to be in it to pick up the pieces, and he's doing it. 124.7 and a 125.4 for Rodders, so definitely with the pace then, and he's saved more fuel. So Firepower then looking good for his first win as Techno comes in to the pits. So Firepower looking for his first win ever in LPB racing, so that would be a real milestone for him. And I've raced with him in other leagues before, and he's really struggled for pace in some of them, and he's really been a midfield contender. But now he is a up-front runner in his own division in this multi-class championship. It's really brought out the skill in the drivers, because it's given him rivals on their own similar speed to go up against, and it really proves who's the better driver. So Firepower really going for it here, as then TY and Callum side by side, and they're both heading for the pits. So TY and Callum both head for the pits here. As we just get back to the other cameras, guys, sorry about that, there we are. So TY and Callum into the pits then, but TY's got to put a lot less fuel in. Callum's got to go for a full tank more or less, because how much that Corvette drinks fuel. So this could be interesting as Firepower comes up the hill then. And we've got Neil Farmack into the pits as well, so we've got Callum, Jamo, Neil Farmack and TY all in the pits at the same time. Here comes Bidzster, he's coming round over the start-finish line, the others are still in the pits. Firepower pits from the lead then. Firepower into the pits from the lead, and his teammate follows him, but he's got to put a little bit more fuel in, and he's behind him. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here. As Bidzster comes around the final corner then, there's Callum coming down the pit lane, you can see him in the background. Where's TY in all this? There's Callum, you can see him coming down the pit lane. Where's TY? There's TY. So TY's out ahead of his teammate then, so the less fuel thing worked, and he's actually put less fuel in the tank anyway. So TY's confident he can save enough fuel to get to the end. Now he knows that he's got Bidzster, his wingman, right behind him. So worked out well here, and he's on the medium tyres, TY, so he's definitely got tyres that will last towards the end, because those other tyres really went off. Soft tyres for Bidzster again, and mediums for Callum with a full tank. So battle resumes then in GTE. As Firepower comes out the pits then. Firepower comes out the pitch, nicely done there, and I think he crossed the white line there. I'm not sure if he did, but if he does, that'll be a little warning or a little penalty of some sort, but we'll have to see. So we'll have to get a replay on that. Okay, here's a replay. What happened to Firepower? So he's coming out behind Neil, and then let's see what happened. Did he cross the white line? Oh yes, he did. He didn't stay behind Neil before the white line ended. He decided to just drive straight around him. So that could be a little penalty for Firepower there. So as we come back from that, then. Sorry about that, guys, just the microphone not working. There we are. So as we come back from that, then, Firepower in the lead of the race, then from Rodders, Techno in third, Stacker just coming out of the pits in fourth, TY in the lead of GTE, then TY in the lead of GTE in the Porsche, followed by his teammate Bidzster. So both with good pace here. As Callum then trying to catch up in seventh, but remember, because that Corvette used a lot more fuel, he had to put a lot more fuel in at the pit stop. And yeah, Bidzster had to put a lot more fuel in, but he had an outlap on fresh tyres, where he could really push hard and try and catch his teammate. So the two Porsche then, the two art cars running close together for this final time they'll be together of the season. Lap 16 out of 30, so we're almost at the end of the pit lane window then, as I think TY was moving out of the way there. TY's moving out of the way, he's lifting off, getting rid of a little penalty, and he lets Bidzster go through, so clearly he wants Bidzster to pull him along with the extra pace that he's had in this race. So Bidzster then takes the lead, and I don't know how long that's going to last for, unless they're going to Bidzster's going to be nice to TY and let him through near the end of the race. But yeah, TY obviously knows he's on the medium tyre. He wants to save more fuel because he's put less fuel in. He knows Bidzster's probably put a full tank in, so he's going for the strategy here. So Bidzster and TY running nose together then, but Bidzster's not really pulling away from TY here. But again, that could just be the fact that TY's on a little bit more fresher tyres than Bidzster. But we'll keep an eye on this, as Callum's a bit further back now, so the battle's sort of not as close as it was earlier, but still got to be in it to win it. Jamo in fourth in class, so he's still doing consistent lap times there, and Neil Farmax out the pits as well there. Obviously Jamo on the softs and Neil on the medium tyre, so that could make things a bit different towards the end of the race as well, so you never know. But in the lead is Firepower. You never get to say that very often, but he's in the lead, and he's got a good lead here. Obviously yes, seat one did fall out of the race, but like I said before, you've got to be in the race to win it. And Firepower is out front. He's leading his teammate by about a good 8 to 10 seconds here, so a big gap for Firepower as well. So he's not just leading the race, he's got a big gap. So Rodders in second then. Techno in third. He's coming up towards the last corner. I still don't think those hard tyres are a good choice for him, because he's all over the place. But Techno, I do think personally, mate, you need to try and experiment with some softer compound tyres when we do a championship like this again. But whatever floats your boat, sunshine, as Stacker comes through in fourth, a bit further behind, but he could catch up towards the end, especially if Techno's lap times aren't as good. So you never know. There's a big gap, but it could come down as the race goes on. So Bidzster and TY then still running nose to tail. 32.3 for Bidzster and a 33 dead, because of TY let him through the other lap as well. So again, all to play for here. If TY did win this race, and if the race was to finish as it was now, TY would be equal with Techno, and he would be ahead of Jamo, which will by 1 point. So it could help if he did win this race and Bidzster finish second. So you never know. We'll have to see as the race goes on what's going to happen. But Firepower, meanwhile, is coming up to lap the GT leaders again. So moves to the inside of TY, beautifully through. And then he's going to go and pass Bidzster, who moves nicely over to the left and lets him go around the outside. So good job there by all of them, and not losing any speed. As TY then with a bit less fuel than Bidzster, but again, TY did put less in from the start. But he's behind his teammate, he's able to save a bit more fuel, and the strategy's going to work, I think. We'll have to see. As we look at Techno then, who goes on the grass out that corner. Whoa, close stuff as Stacker then. 1:22.5, his best lap of the race last time around, and a 23.2. Let's have a look at Techno's lap time compared to Stacker as they cross the line this time. So Techno goes across the line then, 1:23.9. And let's have a look at Stacker. So remember, 1:23.9 for Techno. And let's have a look at what Stacker does here as he comes up towards the line at 170 mph plus. Really rapid pace. 121.8. So Stacker then finding some power. Just as I say, he's finding some pace. Commentator's curse. He spins around. So Stacker definitely needs to work on his consistency for the next championships. But he's got the pace. It's just having the consistency to keep up with it. So hopefully, Stacker, good things for you in the future. But you've just got to keep nailing down at it and keep practicing, my friend. As we look at Firepower then in the lead, nice lead there. As we look at Bidzster and TY then in the GTE class, so Bidzster still ahead of TY, 31.6, 32.0 for TY, so still running within similar lap times to one another. Callum in the 32s, so Callum's backed off a bit. Obviously he's got no one to draft now, and he's got to watch that fuel load as well, because the Corvette will use a lot more fuel. Will use a lot more fuel than the Porsches, so we'll have to see. As they've got Rodders coming up to lap them now, the GTEs, as Rodders backs off before the corner, doesn't do it before there. Sensible stuff, because there's been quite a few penalties this season for other cars hitting the other class off. So, because class-to-class contact gets investigated no matter how small. So, obviously there's the GTEs have got right away with the LP1s, but that's how you pass an LP1. Get on the power, use the hybrid system, and just power yourself past the other cars. And just a bit of patience is required, and then all's well that ends well. So TY then really sticking with his teammate, then not letting him get away. So I wonder if they're going to fight for this last one, or it's going to be a case of Bidzster letting TY go at some point in the race for him to take the win and then get the points to get a bit further up in the championship. Because remember, Bidzster has already got second place sewn up in this championship already, so in Division 1 that is, but he's still obviously fighting for the overall championship places. But even if he does finish second here and Rodders finishes second, it will still be Bidzster slightly ahead of Rodders for third overall in the championship. So there's still quite a few battles for overall in the championship as TY makes a mistake. TY goes up on the curb. I just saw the car twitch, and oh, what a recovery, but that's not going to help him out as he goes out of there, and that's put a little bit more wear on those medium tyres, but and probably a bit more of an elevated heart rate for TY as well. But yeah, he gets away with that, so he's carries on and chases after his teammate, still within drafting range, I would imagine, as we look back from Bidzster. Yeah, still just about in drafting range, but I would imagine this will give Bidzster a bit of time to save a little bit more fuel himself, just let his teammate catch up, and then play the game well. But meanwhile, in dominant fashion, Firepower in the lead of the race. 122.4 last time round, keeping it consistent in the 22s. He's done one. He's done on that lap 19. He did a 24.4, but that was probably just a little mistake. You know, we all make little mistakes. And Firepower leading the way then from Rodders, his teammate. A good 10-second gap between them two, probably, I would say, as Rodders goes really wide. Again, he's tried to make a new track at the first chicane, and now he's trying to make a new track halfway around the lap as well. So Rodders clearly doesn't like the layout of the circuit and wanted to make his own version. As Techno then has just lapped Callum in the Corvette, and now he's going to be chasing the two Porsches of Bidzster and TY in GTE. So 32.3s for Bidzster the last two laps, and 32.1 and a 33.3 for TY after that mistake. So, but Callum is slightly closing up to these guys here. He's in the mid 32s, so we'll have to see what happens here. But again, you've got to have a decent pace, and you've got to try and rely on someone else making a mistake at some point when the gap's this big. But all you can do is press on, be consistent, and try and go as fast as you can. There's Bidzster. Let's look at the tyres, and Bidzster a bit more worn on those soft tyres, but again they'll be holding up quite well round here. Half a tank of fuel left, and TY's more or less on the same fuel now, so he's saved fuel quite well behind his teammate there. So he should definitely make it to the end, hopefully, as Callum then with a lot more fuel left. But remember that Corvette does use fuel a lot more than the Porsche does. As we look at Techno then, Techno's coming up to lap the two Porsches there as Techno's on lap 23. Passes the two Porsches. Will he be able to get Bidzster for the next corner? Yeah, he should be able to. Right, nice look at the inside, but he goes wide off the track and makes a new track and goes off the track, but then rejoins in front. Yes, he'll have a bit of a penalty, but I'm sure he'll be able to get rid of that as the race goes on. So I think he lost more time there than what he gained. So yeah, got a little bit of a penalty there, but just gets rid of it a little bit, and away he goes. Meanwhile, further back, let's have a look at Jamo and Neil. So Jamo's further back. He's on his own in 8th place overall, and 9th place overall Neil Farmack. 133s for these guys, so about a second off the leader's pace. So obviously that Nissan not really up to up to the challenge here at Interlargos. It was a good car around Monza, Nürburgring and Fuji, a few of those, Le Mans, you know, the faster tracks, but Interlargos with its tight twisting midsection is really where it loses out, as TY almost loses out on the Porsche there as he goes wide. Definitely deciding to push a little bit harder now to try and catch his teammate up, because he knows Bidzster's getting away a little bit. Obviously Bidzster just keeping to the same pace and that, and TY trying to catch up to his teammate a little bit here. As we go up over the start-finish straight then, as you look at Bidzster going into the first corner, now onto the brakes, nicely in, trail braking the car in. Just trail braking is where you just keep the brake on a little bit as you enter the corner, just to stabilise the rear end of the car out. You see it a lot in rear-wheel drive cars, just to make sure the car's nicely balanced as you go into the corner. As you go down the straight then with Bidzster, TY right behind him, but obviously TY a bit closer now. 33.7 for Bidzster that last time round, 33.5 for TY, so a couple of tenths faster. And every tenth helps as we look back at Callum. He's got the last remaining Porsche Marlboro car of Stacker behind him, who looks to go to the left and then decides to go to the right, but I think Callum was trying to get out of the way there a little bit, but Stacker not reading that very well, as well, to be honest with you, they both sort of moved the same way at the same time, so both probably didn't read it properly. As we go into the hairpins, TY still behind Bidzster, so Bidzster not letting his teammate through just yet. As we look to Callum, then he's definitely got half a tank of fuel remaining, and these two just about a third of a tank, as Callum then with Stacker still behind him. Stacker still can't get through. Now he'll be able to get through on hybrid power, probably around the outside. But is he going to go for it around the outside? Risky stuff, but just about gets through and doesn't compromise Callum's line too much. So good job there by Stacker. A bit risky, but still got it done in the end, and it was clean. So let's have a look at the lap times then, this time for the two Porsches then. As we go across the line, 1:33.1 for Bidzster and a 1:33.1 for TY as well, so identical lap times now, so TY matching his teammate's pace. So TY obviously wanting Bidzster to set the pace and TY to stick with him and just save enough fuel. And now if you look, Bidzster's actually got less fuel than TY, so Bidzster will have to start thinking about saving fuel at some point, because the leader Firepower is on lap 25, so still 5 laps remaining in this race. And remember, the GT cars use a lot more fuel than the hybrids. As we go out of turn 4, down through turn 5, up towards turn 6, the long right-handers. Stacker goes round TY there, nicely done, and now he's got to get past Bidzster. But he's got Bidzster in the tight complex section, so he'll not want to compromise Bidzster's lines too much into here as he waits behind. Remember, Bidzster's got to stick to his line. Stacker's going to have to wait until out of this corner, either squirt past on hybrid or wait for the corner after. Is he going to do it? Nope, he's going to wait until after the next corner as TY gets up behind Stacker and almost goes into the back of him, because Stacker's caught between the two teammates here as Bidzster goes to the inside. But still, Stacker can't get through, so Stacker's going to have to wait for the straight, save up the hybrid power, as he's got a full battery there, loads of hybrid power to use, gets on the power, and Bidzster leaves him a nice little gap on the inside to go for if he wants to. There we go. Oh, lovely jubbly working together. So all the Porsches working together there. And Stacker goes through. So this lap time for Bidzster then, let's have a look. See if his teammates any closer on lap times. 1:34.1, 1:34.2, because obviously they had Stacker lapping them, so a little bit slower, as Callum's still in the 1:33s, so Callum keeping it consistent, but he's not really got a fast enough pace to catch up, as he does a 1:35.2, so little mistake from Callum on that lap. So not looking like he's going to catch the other two guys. As we look at Firepower then, starting lap 27, 3 laps to go, or 4 laps to go, whichever way you want to look at it, as Firepower goes into the centre S, and out of the centre S onto the back straight. Yes, seat 1 disconnected, but like I've said before in this race, you need to be in the race to win it. To finish first you must finish. Firepower's the living embodiment of that. Finishing races, very consistent stuff, and now he's leading the race. 1:23.6 last time round and a 1:25 for his teammate, so definite pace over his teammate here. There's 23.8 for Techno on the hard tyres. That's pretty impressive stuff on the hard tyre, doing a 23. That's pretty impressive. So good stuff by Techno. So the tyres have come in near the end of the race, but he really could have been done with going on a softer compound for the start of the race to see what happens, to just actually get more pace out of the car. Bidzster has a massive twitch out the corner there now. TY's closer than he's ever been. I wonder if at some point Bidzster's going to repay the favour to TY and let him back through for the win, because TY saved a lot more fuel than Bidzster here. Bidzster's just under a quarter tank and still got about another 3 laps to go in this race. So Bidzster needs to think about getting to the end, and TY needs to get the win for the extra places in the championship, for the Drivers' Championship, because they'll still get the same constructor points for a 1-2, just that TY will get extra points for himself to move up positions in the championship. So we'll see what's going to happen here, as we've got Firepower just lapping Callum there, so that will be 1 less lap for Callum to do, and hopefully 1 less lap for the leaders to do as well. As Firepower on lap 28 then. Comes round turn 3 out of the centre S, down towards turn 4. 3 laps left in this race. And Rodders a nice second there, 24.2 last time round, so a little bit faster that last time round, but still is a second, almost a second off his teammate on pace. So Firepower really pulling out all the stops here. The best performance we've seen from Firepower ever in LPB racing, and ever since I've known him. Brilliant performance here as Techno goes through in 3rd. Let's have a little look back at the Bidzster TY battle then. So Bidzster's still ahead of TY for now, but TY is still closer, and he's got a quarter of a tank left. Bidzster's just over an 8th left, so we'll have to think about what's going to happen here. But they've got Firepower closing them up, so that'll be 1 less lap for them to do, which will be a relief as we go down to the last corner then. TY accelerate up the hill. Here goes TY. Let's have a look. No, here goes Firepower, sorry, passing TY. There he goes. Firepower goes through, and Bidzster's slowing down. Bidzster's slowing down. So Bidzster's letting TY go here. He's letting him go finally. He thought, right, well, Firepower's gone through, that's 1 less lap to do, I'll let you go through and save a bit of fuel myself. So TY takes the lead of the GT class in Division 1, and it looks like it's going to stay that way, because it looks like Bidzster's backed off a little bit. Quite happy to let his teammate lead the way around now, so we'll have to see what's going to happen here towards the end of the race. But Firepower then, we're on his penultimate lap of the race. Led ever since Seat 1 retired, or just disconnected, whichever way you want to put it, but no points for Seat 1 in this. But Firepower goes through up the complex section. Got to keep it together for another couple of laps, Firepower, and then you'll have your first ever win on LPB racing. And what a milestone, and what a race to do it on, the last race of the season. That'll give him a good little kick up the backside for the next championship. It'll give him a good morale boost. And good for Team Jorex, the first 1-2 of the season, and probably the last as well, because it's not going to be Team Jorex anymore after this season. But it's been funny having the name on here, and it's been quite funny saying it in the commentaries without cringing, but pretty good stuff. Callum almost gets wiped out there by Rodders. Rodders having to stamp on that brake pedal and press it through the floor to stop there without hitting Callum. But close stuff as Callum runs a bit wide, Rodders goes through, so Rodders is a little bit scrappy now. Yep, very scrappy. Goes onto the grass and starts mowing the lawn. Didn't know Porsche made a lawnmower, but they do apparently. And Callum goes back through and Rodders has to do it again. But meanwhile, Firepower starts his last lap of the race. Perfectly managed the tyres, perfectly managed the fuel. A complete turnaround from his disastrous race 1 with the extra pit stop. Led most of the way around ever since Seat 1 ended up retiring. But a really good performance here by Firepower. Rodders in 2nd. Techno in 3rd, a good race for him. Hard tyres finally come alive at the last part of the race. He's really red on fuel though, so he's got to watch that fuel level. Stacker tried to catch up to Techno, but ended up making quite a few mistakes himself as well. TY in the lead of GT then, with Bidzster on red fuel now. Quite happy to sit behind his teammate to let him win for the extra points. Oh, TY slowing down, what's he doing? Oh, he's getting rid of a little penalty, and Bidzster staying behind him to cover him. So Callum will close up a little bit more here. A 34 for Callum last time round, so compared to 35s for these guys. So still, one mistake could make the difference here. But let's focus on this man. It's been years and years in the making. We've been sim racing with him for absolutely ages. He's really tried every single race. He's put his heart and soul into it. He's been at the back. He's kept his morale up. He's turned up every single time. So it gives me the greatest pleasure to say well done to Firepower on your first win. Well done, Firepower. You won a race on LPB Racing. Celebrate. Well done, mate. Brilliant stuff. As Rodders is going to come through to make it even more sweet for him. as a 1-2 finish for the team, and it's going to be a 1-2 finish for the GTE runners as well, who are just in front. TY is going to win the GTE race. I think Rodders is staying behind him to let them have the moment, which is nice. TY wins the last Division 1 race of the season and elevates himself to 5th place in the championship, or 6th place should I say. Bidzster in 2nd, Callum 3rd, valiant effort by him. Rodders 2nd in Division 2, well done to him. Techno comes across for a podium finish in the last one of the season. Well done to Techno, good first season for him with LPB Racing. And Stacker's going to be 4th in class for his. Jamo is in 8th position overall, 4th in class. Neil's going to round it off in 5th position in his class. Yes, it's at the back, but still you've got to be in it to win it. Neil Farmack finishes in 9th place overall, 5th in class. Well done to Neil Farmack. As we just stop it there just in case we go over. It's just Stacker to finish. So Stacker comes across the line for a decent 4th place. Consistent drive, well done to him as well. So we'll just get those final results of the championship confirmed for you now, guys. Okay guys, here's the results of the last race of the season then. So Firepower takes his first win in LPB Racing. Well done to Firepower, brilliant job there. Got to be in it to win it after Seat 1's retirement and disconnection. So Rodders finishes 2nd, Techno gets 3rd, so it's a Durex 1-2 with Firepower and Rodders, then Techno 3rd. Stacker in 4th, then TY wins the last GTE race of the season. Well done to TY in the Division 1. Bidzster 2nd, his teammate has been his wingman all race. Callum then in 3rd, Jamo 4th, Neil in 5th. Seat 1 fastest lap, a 1:20.7, so he does get the extra point. Okay guys, and now on to the last championship standings of the season then. So Seat 1 wins overall, 318 points, so well done Seat 1, congratulations, you are the overall champion and Division 2 champion, well done to you sir. Then it's Callum Paul Banks in 2nd place overall and the winner of the Division 1 championship, well done to Callum. Then 3rd it's Bidzster, and then just a couple of points between him and Rodders in 4th, then it's Techno 5th, then it's TY on the same points as Techno. So well done to them too. Jamo then on 229, the same points as Firepower in the end after that magnificent win in the last one. And in the teams, it's the Porsche Marlboro team that take the overall victory there and 514 points. And also they win the Division 2 one with Jorex in 3rd. Art team gets 2nd overall and 1st in Division 1 on the teams as well. AC Motorsport after the demise of Task 1 on 437 and NNN Racing really struggling there on 203. So, there is your winner. Firepower wins a race with LPB Racing. Well done to him. Fantastic stuff. But there is TY, the winner of the GT race. Well done to TY. He wins the GT race. But just have a quick recap of your champions then. Callum in the Corvette there. Well done to Callum there. He is the Division 1 champion. But Seat 1, unfortunately, we can't see him because he's the Division 2 champion because he disconnected. But well done to him as well. And it's been a fantastic season, guys. Thank you for all involved. Thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel. I hope you all enjoyed this season. And we'll stay tuned for next season because we've got the Manufacturer Series coming up for you. So, last congratulations to Firepower on his first win. Well done to you, mate. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.